There comes a moment in every life when the mirror stops lying, when the noise of the world fades, and all you're left with is truth, your truth. And that truth is simple, brutal, unforgiving. You are either building your vision or you're building your excuses. There is no in-between. There is no neutral ground. Every thought, every action, every day is a vote for the life you dream of or the life you settle for. And if you're honest, you already know which one you've been voting for. See, most people don't fail because of lack of talent or timing or tools. They fail because of permission. They keep waiting for something outside of them to validate what's already burning inside. They keep negotiating with their potential. I'll start when I feel ready. I'll go all in when the timing's right. I'll believe in myself once I see results. That's not strategy. That's fear in disguise. That's the language of the average. An average is not your destiny. You weren't put here to explain your limitations. You were put here to expand beyond them. You were put here to build something. Something that only you can see. Something the world doesn't understand yet, because it doesn't exist until you create it. But here's the catch. You cannot build while dragging the dead weight of your excuses. You can't scale the mountain of your calling while carrying the baggage of why it's hard. You want to move forward? Then something's got to burn. Burn the laziness disguised as self-care. Burn the overthinking dressed up as planning. Burn the self-doubt you inherited from a world that gave up on itself. Burn the voice that says you're not ready, not smart enough, not connected enough, not enough. Because none of that is real. What's real is your vision. What's real is that fire in your chest. What's real is the pull you feel every time you close your eyes and picture the life you could be living. That's not imagination. That's instruction. And your job, your only job, is to honor it, to protect it, to build it brick by brick, day by day, without apology or excuse. Think about the great builders, the giants whose names echo through history. Edison, who failed 10,000 times to light the world. Disney, fired for lacking imagination, who then created entire worlds from his. Lincoln, buried under loss, defeat, and depression, who rose anyway and rewrote a nation's destiny. Do you think they had perfect conditions? Do you think they waited for confidence or comfort or consensus? No, they burned. They burned the bridges back to mediocrity. They burned the excuses that said, maybe someday. They made their vision louder than their fear. And that's what separates builders from wishers. Builders act, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, especially when it hurts. Because vision is not a dream. Vision is a command. It's a demand for alignment. And until your actions, your habits, your identity reflect the future you say you want, it will stay locked outside of your reach. You say you want greatness. You say you want freedom. You say you want to live life on your terms. But are you becoming the kind of person who can hold that? Can you withstand the storms that come with elevation? Can you stay committed when no one claps? Can you grind with zero proof that it's working purely because your vision said, trust me? This is the hard truth most never face. The life you want is not hiding. It's waiting on you to stop lying to yourself. Waiting on you to stop calling hesitation wisdom. Waiting on you to stop dressing procrastination in the clothes of preparation. You don't need more motivation. You need to decide, right here, right now, that from this moment forward you will burn the excuses. Not manage them, not understand them, not talk about them in therapy circles for 10 more years. Burn them, reduce them to ashes, because from those ashes, something new must rise. And that something is you, not the you they remember, not the you they liked when you played small. The new you, the one who builds without permission, the the one who leads with vision, the one who stops asking and starts becoming. You don't get the life you want by repeating the version of you that created the life you're trying to escape. You get it by becoming unrecognizable. And that process, that shedding of the old skin, is not pretty, it's not polished. It's not something you can filter or perform on social media. It's raw, it's silent, it's brutal. It happens when nobody's watching, when the lights are off, when you're sitting with your own doubts face to face and you choose to keep building anyway. Because builders don't beg for conditions, they create them. They don't wait for opportunities, they become them. They don't chase motivation, they're powered by mission. That's the difference between the ones who almost made it and the ones who changed the world. And hear me clearly, this isn't about working harder for the sake of hustle. This is about being aligned mind, body, soul with the version of you that your future requires. Because until your behavior matches your ambition, all you'll ever feel is friction. That restlessness you carry, that's not laziness. It's misalignment. You were born for more, but more doesn't show up until you earn it. And that starts with purpose, not a slogan, not some trendy idea you saw in a reel. I'm talking about a core reason for being, something that makes struggle sacred and turns obstacles into fuel. Purpose is what transforms pain into progress. It's what gives your suffering meaning. Without purpose, effort is empty. You'll chase every shiny thing. With purpose, everything you do is part of the architecture of your vision. Think of the Wright brothers, two bicycle mechanics, building flight while the world laughed. They weren't doing it for followers. They weren't chasing applause. They had a vision. They had a reason. And that reason pulled them through ridicule, failure, and fear. That's what you need, pull. Because push will fail you. Push relies on force. Push runs out when it gets hard. But pull, purpose, that drags you through fire with your eyes open and your fists clenched. If you don't have that yet, stop everything and find it. Because without purpose, the excuses will win. They'll sound reasonable. They'll feel justified. They'll become your identity. But when purpose is clear, excuses evaporate. And once the fire of purpose is lit, it must be fed. Not with more dreaming, but with ruthless action. Action that doesn't wait to be perfect. Action that doesn't need a 5-step plan. Action that starts with what you have right now where you are, even if it's not enough. Because it's never enough at the beginning. That's the point. You build your capacity through movement. Ford didn't wait for approval to disrupt transportation. He started in a shed with broken parts and big faith. Every revolution begins with someone doing what doesn't make sense until it does. So stop worshiping logic and start honoring your instincts. The most dangerous thing you can do is keep thinking about the life you want while staying addicted to the one you've outgrown. Your greatness won't arrive in a moment of brilliance. It will be forged in repetition. The kind of repetition that's boring. The kind that makes you question if it's even working. The kind that demands faith over feedback. Because there will be no applause in the beginning. Only resistance. Only doubt. Only silence. But that's where warriors are made. In the silence. In the in-between. In the space where average people quit and builders double down. You will question yourself. You will face days where everything feels like a mistake. You will be laughed at, misunderstood, underestimated. Good. That's confirmation you're on the right path. Because no one mocks what isn't threatening. No one laughs at something that isn't shaking the status quo. And you weren't born to maintain the current system. You were born to disrupt it. That starts with one thing, identity. Not who you are, but who you're becoming. Because you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. And your standards are built on how you see yourself. So stop trying to get a new life with the same mindset that built the old one. That's why your excuses must die. because they are tied to your current identity. And the minute you let them go, you make space for a new version of you to step forward. Not someday, not later, now. Now means war. War with your former self, with the patterns that keep pulling you back to average, with the voice in your head that whispers, maybe you're not ready, maybe you're not enough. Burn that voice, because the world doesn't need more self-doubt. It needs leaders, visionaries, builders of futures so bold they scare small minds. You want to change your life? Then you'd better get comfortable being misunderstood. Because transformation will confuse the people who still recognize you by your old identity. The moment you evolve, they'll flinch, they'll mock, they'll retreat. Why? Because your growth threatens their stagnation. Let them leave. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your elevation. You don't owe the past your loyalty. The only thing you owe is your becoming. And becoming requires resilience. Not just strength, not just power, but the ability to adapt and rise every single time life tries to break you. Resilience isn't about bouncing back. It's about coming back different, stronger, sharper, smarter. You don't just return, you upgrade. You're going to fail. Accept that now. Embrace it. Invite it. Because failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Edison failed more times than most people attempt. Lincoln lost more elections than he won. Colonel Sanders didn't get a yes until his 1009th pitch. You think they were lucky? No, they were resilient. They were relentless. They didn't just build visions, they became the kind of people worthy of those visions. And that's the hard part, isn't it? Not building the business, not chasing the dream. It's becoming the person who doesn't collapse when it gets hard. The one who doesn't vanish when no one's watching. The one who doesn't fold when the plan falls apart. Because it will fall apart. Life will hit you in the mouth. It'll break your timing, steal your peace, test your soul. And in that moment, you will have one choice. Adapt or die. That's what real builders do. They adapt. They pivot. They reframe, they reload. They don't say, why me? They say, what's next? They don't drown in setbacks, they mine them for strategy. They extract wisdom from pain and turn it into firepower. Adaptability isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength. Rigidity breaks. Flexibility evolves. You want to build your vision? You want to lead something meaningful? Then you better learn to move with the storm and never forget who you are in the middle of it. But adaptability isn't enough on its own. You need another edge, learning. Not just gathering information, absorbing transformation. The greats don't just consume, they study. They don't scroll for entertainment. They read for elevation. They aren't casual about their craft. They are obsessed with sharpening it. Because the mind that isn't growing is rotting. You can't run new software on outdated thinking. You must install new mental models. You must question what you've accepted as truth. You must kill the habits that kept you stuck and replace them with rituals that forge resilience, clarity, and power. This isn't school. There's no syllabus. Life is the curriculum, and the test is daily. Every moment is asking you one thing: are you learning or repeating? Because if you're not learning from your struggle, you're just reliving it. If you're not upgrading your awareness, your patterns will pull you back into the old self, the old excuses, the old cage. And cages aren't always made of steel. Sometimes they're made of comfort, of pride, of familiar suffering you've learned to live with. But you weren't born to cope. You were born to conquer. You were born to stretch, to rise, to lead. And leaders, real leaders, never stop evolving. They never stop breaking themselves open to rebuild something better. You want the world to give you more? Then become more. Think deeper. Move faster. Speak clearer. Love harder. Train like it matters. Live like it's war. Because it is. A war for your soul. A war for your potential. A war between the you that makes excuses and the you that builds legacies. Which one wins? That's up to you. The clock is ticking, not just on your goals, on your life, on your time here, on this earth, in this body, in this moment. You don't get to redo this decade. You don't get to rewind the days you wasted in fear, in doubt, in comfort. But you do get now, and now is all you need, because the future is built in the present, in your next breath, your next move, your next choice to either stay small or step into your fire. Understand this: there is no savior coming. There is no mentor, no system, no magic moment that will fix what only you can decide. You are the author. You are the weapon. You are the wall and the wrecking ball. And the vision you carry, that idea that won't let go of you, that obsession that keeps tugging at your chest in quiet moments, that's not a coincidence. That's calling. It's not a fantasy. It's an instruction from your higher self. You were born with it because you're the one meant to build it, and no one else can. If you don't bring it to life, it dies with you. The book, the movement, the invention, the mission, the freedom, the legacy, that's the cost of excuses. It's not just your time, it's your impact, and you know it. That's why you're still listening. Because deep down, you know you're not here to blend in. You're not here to live lukewarm, love halfway, and die full of what if. You're here to set fire to everything holding you back. You're here to take that vision, that unshakable, unreasonable, soul-born vision, and build it like your life depends on it. Because it does. You want wealth? Then build something worthy. You want respect? Then become someone worth following. You want peace? Then stop betraying yourself with every